You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Rizzoli Isles After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Rizzoli Isles After Show.
Okay, that girl that just did the killing, her mask was way cooler than ours.
Way cooler.
I mean, it had leaves and it was everywhere. What's up, guys? Bing is for doing, and what are we doing? We are doing another Rizzoli Isles after show on AFTERBUZZ TV. We are on Season 3, Episode 6, The Moneymaker. There were so many ways of the moneymaker. They were shaking it. There was
Shaking the
investment
moneymaker.
bankers. It was awesome.
Prostitute.
There was everything.
Money everywhere.
Money everywhere. Guys, I'm Krisily Kennedy. Thank you for coming back again this week. We had a couple technical difficulties in the studio tonight, so we didn't have our intro, and our DVR missed some spots of some really important stuff, so sorry we're starting late, but we will get right into things. But first, let's introduce the wonderful co-hosts.
I am Roqui Theus.
And I'm Jenifer Golden.
And we all have our masks on tonight because we saw last week in the promo that they were going to be wearing masks tonight for part of the crime. So we felt like we should be part of the team tonight.
Yes, this is our masquerade.
It's our masquerade.
Isles
It's
party.
theme night.
It's theme night, and I think it's a fun theme night. So let's get right into the crime this week, which we had to watch a second time because we missed all the crucial information tonight.
All the facts, just the facts about, how they discovered who did it and whatever.
Well, we all sit there every week and decide, like, who done it? How do they
Right.
figure it out? And this week we had some difficulties and we missed that part. But the amazing man in our studio, he helped us because he loves us.
Yeah.
So good covering for us
Our
tonight.
Tarzan.
Good covering for us tonight. So it starts where there is obviously a masquerade, and it's total eyes wide shut scene where
Yep.
they're in their masks and their cloaks, and she comes in and there's very little talking, and all of a sudden there's a needle and he goes into a seizure, and that's the end of him.
Yep.
Yes.
Heart attack, done.
Like
And-
instant.
Right. And
Instant.
He started like.
then in the beginning, didn't you think that the girl kind of looked a little surprised? Like, I guess her eyes, to me, looked like she was surprised that had happened.
Well, she was acting. She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
But
Like she yeah, she
it
did.
was very sarcastic and like, I really meant to kill you.
Yeah. I mean, at first I thought maybe somebody had put something in whatever she was doing, and then...
And she didn't know.
Right. And
Right.
but then we found out clearly that was not the case, and I was wrong
Right.
this week.
Well, what was really weird was that when they finally get the call, it's at an empty house. I mean, that house was full of furniture. There
Right.
was a huge bed that this man was laying in
Right.
when she came in. So obviously it was a staged house, which I guess that's an LA thing because I've never
Right.
gone to open houses where they're completely staged that much.
No, they actually hire people to come in and do that.
Well, I feel like that's an LA thing though. Like
No,
at
they
home,
have it
I've
in
never
my-
It
seen
happens
that.
everywhere.
They have it in
happens
Miami. They have it,
everywhere.
yeah.
I've never seen that.
Oh yeah,
Like
that's like
that
somebody's job
staged.
to just do houses like that, get them ready for a sale, and then they just clean it up and go.
And sometimes you can actually buy the furniture.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
Which is
Like
nice.
I've never
it's
seen
called
it.
an installation. So.
It's
Thank you.
No
Roqui was really good this week too, because as soon as the real estate agent came out, she was like, "It's her,
I
Yeah.
know.
it's her."
But you know,
Well, because they always do that. They always
Right.
It's like they always introduce the
Yeah.
person.
I feel like it's
right
usually
off the
the
bat.
second person though. Like the first person is for sure involved. The second person though did it.
not always.
Well,
One-
no, because last week it was the bus guy, right? And it was him.
True.
He was the first person that we were introduced to, and it was him and his son.
Yeah.
And this week and I agreed at that point. I
I
was like, it's
definitely thought
totally
it
the
was the real
blonde
estate.
hair, the bad
Right. I
attitude.
didn't think it was
she
her.
was like
I
sour
just-
grape.
She seemed a little older than the girl who actually did it, which then you
Sure.
find out is actually not young.
And her lips had more plump to him.
And around her face.
Yeah.
A little wrestling in there.
Little
Yeah.
something.
Little
in her
LA
lips.
girl. Little LA girl.
They're a little
So
plump.
we found out the guy that gets killed is Neil, who owns an investment firm, like an
Yes.
investment banking firm with his partner. I believe his last name was Odell. I could not get his name through the entire
Dale,
episode.
maybe?
I don't know what
Odell?
it was.
I don't
Dale.
remember.
It was one of the two.
Someone.
Yeah.
It was close.
Mm.
And we're instantly introduced to the partner and this other couple that are big hedge fund people. And
Right.
it's this man and his wife, and they're happily married, and he's a coach and she's a nurse, and they just seem like the happy family, and both seem really upset about this. Like
Yeah.
they seemed pretty darn hurt.
Yeah. And then we find out.
I mean,
Yes.
it was just like I just didn't think. I don't know. I felt like usually, I guess you wouldn't have remorse if you tried to kill someone intentionally, and they really had no.
Right.
Like you didn't see that at all. Like she was crying, she was visibly upset. He was consoling her. They were in a gym full of kids.
Right.
Like there was no inkling that it was to her at all. for
No,
me.
in
Once
the beginning,
again, her acting skills.
Yeah.
stellar performance.
Who knew
But,
a nurse?
You know, in the beginning, I thought they were just there to show like the humanity of the guy who died, not
Right.
that they were involved in the murder in any way.
That he was like a good guy. They were writing out this check to help
Right.
these kids, and
Exactly.
and it's just, yeah, it was really interesting. So then the police find out that Neil and his partner's biggest client is the Drizz.
I love
Heavy
that.
Drizz.
Heavy Drizz.
That was
Yeah,
so
come
random, and of
on
course
now.
they pin him as the murderer. They're like, "Well, you're a rapper, so you must have done it."
Of course. And then the nun screaming
Or
at him.
Maybe.
Like the nun screaming at him, telling him he's the reason why everyone screws up in life. And it
Right.
was just like, where she keeps coming from is beyond me.
She came out of nowhere when they were dancing, and by the way, that dancing was not to be seen by the public eye.
I felt like what's his name? Barreled. His
Bar-
dancing match's name.
Frost.
Yeah.
Barreled Frost.
Barreled.
I love
Frost,
Frost.
same
Frost
guy.
is still one of my favorites.
Mine too.
So
I
they-
do like Frankie too. His dance moves terrible, but I do like
Yes.
Frankie.
But they didn't pin
Both
it
good
on
guys.
Drizz just because he was a rapper. They pinned it on Drizz because the last time he renegotiated his contract, he held his manager by his feet over a balcony and hung him.
Right. So he had a history of violence.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just like, oh, you're a rapper, you did it.
Right.
It was more like you have a history of trying to kill people to get them to do what you want.
Exactly.
I mean,
And he knew Neil by taking him to the. They found out when he took him to the ER that night because they were in the car
Right.
together.
but they were in the car together because Drizz wanted his money back,
Right.
and Neil wouldn't let him, so he was scaring him by driving 155 miles an hour on a
Right.
car
Exactly.
with 22-inch rims.
Exactly.
28.
Probably
I
some
think.
hydraulics.
sorry.
It was
too.
28 inch.
Yeah,
rims.
and he had chest pains because obviously we knew from the beginning that he had a heart problem,
Right.
and that he the word penis just keeps coming up in all of these
Yeah.
episodes. Apparently,
I
Janet
don't-
is a
I
little
don't know.
infatuated right now, but he was getting injections because he had ED and he couldn't take meds because of a heart problem. So we knew from the beginning he had a heart problem.
Well, for all our viewers who don't know what ED is,
Erectile dysfunction.
Let's all say it at one
I
time.
mean, it happens. And there's medications for it, but
Mm-hmm.
he obviously couldn't take it because of his heart. So he's having these injections, which they find out at the beginning, which then made me say, okay, well, that's why he wasn't afraid of this needle. Because at first I was like, what the
Right.
hell is she putting into
Right.
him?
I thought maybe it was drugs and like they just like
I
give
thought
it
that
to
as
each
well.
other and then
Mhm.
go into some crazy trance at this
Oh,
crazy
it's a
sex party.
Exactly.
So I thought maybe that was just part of that, but then we find out he has an issue, and so he does that to then have sex at the sex party with the masks on. We're not at a sex party. That's not what this is
Oh,
about.
no. Oh, no.
Just clarifying, we're here doing a show.
Definitely not.
It's AfterBuzz TV. This is a family show. There will be no sex here. But it was interesting, and it goes into detail with finding out through the key fob because obviously Neil's car was found at the house, and bodies are not recyclable.
Why was the
Like,
body in the recycling
bodies-
container?
As if the police wouldn't look in the trash cans.
But that's why I think they put him in the recyclables because he wouldn't be. Trash is too simple.
Right.
Like normal people put dead bodies in the trash. Non-normal people apparently think bodies are recyclable.
Hey, you know.
Hey. And at first she thought the body was in the trunk of the car, and then like without question she's like, "Oh, recycling container."
But
Well, she didn't want the trash man to take the bins away.
right.
Right.
Whether
Right.
it
Well,
was a
because
trash
there
can
was
or a
an
recycling
ear.
bin.
They cut off his ear and put the ear on the door.
I don't think that was like
that part?
intentional. I think they were carrying the body out and it got like snipped, like or clipped on the door.
Ew.
How does that happen? I thought it was
Maybe
pinned.
the lock part.
No, I think they were probably carrying him, and like while he was going, that's why the blood was dripping.
Yeah.
Like I think that maybe they carried him through. It got clipped on their way to the garbage thingy, and they just clearly didn't clean their tracks, which is bizarre. And you just killed a person. Clean your
why
tracks.
would you just cut the top of someone's ear off?
Like as a symbol, like a sock on the door.
It's not really.
A person has been killed here, folks.
But that's what I thought it was. I thought it was totally a message to because here's the thing, okay? The next person that comes into this house is the real estate agent. The real estate agent is who she's mad at because the real estate agent is sleeping with her husband.
Right.
So
Right.
now the real estate agent goes to work the next day and there's an ear on the door. That's why they called the police.
Okay.
They didn't call the police because they found the dead body, remember?
Right.
They found the ear first. So I think that she intentionally cut the ear off and put it there so that when the real estate agent went the next day, she knew someone knew.
I don't know if you can see under my mask that I'm making the creepiest face. I'm like so creeped out by this ear.
And I'm clapping because that was amazing.
Yeah, you're excited, and you did a great
Are
job.
you creeped out that I think like a serial killer?
That
I mean-
explanation was
Yeah.
great. Oh, all right.
All right, maybe we'll go with yours. We'll
Okay,
with
go with
yours.
mine.
We've been enlightened. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so we find out Georgette is not Georgette. She's
Candy Smith.
Candy Smith, who is
Candy.
a prostitute and has an underground sex club with Neil and the coach.
Yes, she
Yeah.
provides the girls
She provides the girls. They provide the money, the men, because
and the
what-
houses, right?
well, she provides the houses,
Yeah,
yeah, because she's
right.
a real estate agent. So she finds these houses that are already staged that has these events, and then tries to sell them in hopes that nobody gets killed, which
Wow.
went horribly wrong this time.
Yes.
But Rizzoli and Maura decide that they're going to go undercover.
I love that.
My favorite was when Maura was like, "What do I wear? I've never been a high-paid prostitute before."
A high class.
High class prostitute.
It was
high class
amazing.
prostitute.
We know Jane played a prostitute once.
Right,
That's how
exactly.
they met.
That's what I said.
Not
I was
so
like,
high
well,
class.
she has, but not high class.
No,
Exactly.
she was not a high class.
I
But
wish their outfits were cuter or a little more
No, they're
sexy.
wearing bolo ties. Like, really?
Well, because they had to wear the camera, and they
Right. They
didn't
were
want to be
caterer type.
right,
Right.
and they didn't want to be confused with the girls that had to take their clothes off because they were on a mission to pull a hair out of all the 17
Exactly.
girls. Like just walking around and pulling a hair.
I mean, as a prostitute, if I was there,
Put yourself in their shoes. Put yourself
I
there.
would be really mad if someone was just walking around pulling my hair.
And then none of them questioned anything. They were just like, oh.
yeah, like oh, and then
Owie.
just kept no.
They did. They just walked around and pulled hair and went in the room
And had a whole telescope thing. I'm not a telescope. Oh my god. What is that thing called?
Microscope.
That thing. I was
telescope.
going to say a stethoscope. Also not that. Clearly I don't work in
Go.
medicine. It's all good. But they had that thing set up. Like, as though this is just
But
what
it
we
was
do
in
in
the
this room.
bathroom. Like,
But that other girl was standing in there.
And it's funny because
she
when
was
that
out of it.
but when that blonde girl walked in, I was like, oh my god, it's her. She had the same
Yeah, you
hairdo.
did.
Yeah.
I was like, no,
she
she's
had the
shorter.
same mask.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe you said that she was shorter. I can't even believe you knew how tall she was
Yeah,
by
she
just
was-
killing
She
somebody.
was pretty tall.
The details, guys.
She was really tall.
So clearly, I'm the killer and you're the detective. Like that's the way
Absolutely.
this is gonna work. Okay, awesome.
And I'm the
you're-
spectator.
No, you are the medical examiner, obviously.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
Sometimes we get music. Sometimes we like to hear some
That was
music
fun.
in our
I don't even
studio.
Did
know
he
what
mean
that
to do
was.
that?
So
Like,
that's
where did that even come from?
That's
Never mind.
exactly what happened on our episode tonight, Ben. Exactly what happened. All of a sudden, we're watching Rizzoli Isles, and they're talking, but we're watching an iPad commercial. It was the weirdest thing.
We're having serious wire crossing right now.
It's been a lot of wire
Mercury.
crossings.
It's Mercury.
Mercury is in retrograde, people.
That
this
or-
is the things that happen.
That
Yep.
or the 100-degree weather.
Yes, everything.
100 plus.
The,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
the wires are melting.
Welcome to the valley.
Hello.
So undercover at the sex party, and of course someone else dies, and
Yes.
now it's Georgette dead in a pool.
Wait, before we go there, because this was my favorite part, when the girl, the blonde, like, prostitute girl was like, oh, you're definitely, like, the lower rate of girl.
The prostitute.
Oh, yeah.
She's like,
The indium or something.
right. And she said it wrong. And, of course, Maura was like, it's indium.
Well,
An indium.
Yeah, because she pronounced it wrong
Right.
and she said it grammatically incorrect, which my friend Jen likes to
Incorrect.
grammatic.
Yeah,
See?
incorrect.
Grammatically
See?
incorrect.
See that I'm
Sorry,
a
guys.
grammatical nightmare. It's totally okay,
That's
and
funny.
she corrects me. So yeah. So Georgette is dead in the pool, and they bring her in, and that's how they find out who killed who, which
Yep.
we missed the first time. So we had to come back and watch it a second time, and still felt like there were some unanswered questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
they
felt like
find
we
the-
missed more.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they find the jelly substance on
Mhm.
him, which ends up being butane gel, which is what they put under the food warmers to
Mhm.
keep them hot. So that's how they figure out that it had to be a waiter. And there was a second print on the diamond ring, which they are saying the diamond ring was bought because she was the girlfriend of the coach.
Right.
So how they found the second print and how they put it all to her, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden cut to the next scene where Rizzoli's walking in and arresting the nurse.
Yes.
Right.
We were like,
Well, it's a little of that movie magic. Like, we just need to infer that, all right, they found out the print. They obviously know who did it. So then they go get her.
Yeah. So and they tell her that they have footage of her pushing Georgette in the pool, which
I
I
love
thought
that.
was really
that
funny.
was
Surveillance
smart of Frost.
cameras.
That was really smart of him.
Go Frost.
It's like, we don't have that. He's like, she doesn't know.
Yeah.
It was kind of brilliant
It was.
and then she just bagged herself, and
Exactly.
it was, you know, she was in love with this man and she wanted to be with this man, and she didn't want to kill him, but she wanted to kill the person who brought him into it, which was
Into this life.
interesting.
Yeah.
And then of course she wanted to kill the girl because then she couldn't
That was
have
the-
him.
Right.
Fair E.
I mean, is she gonna get the rock while she's in prison? Because that was a pretty big rock.
No.
That was a huge rock.
Yellow.
Yeah. Wow.
And way to go, Maura, on just looking at it and knowing like the clarity and the cut instantly just by looking with a naked eye. Like, that's brilliant.
But do all
I
doctors
expect
know
that.
all of this stuff? Like, okay, just because you're a doctor doesn't mean you were also whatever a
jeweler.
a gemologist is.
That's it. You're right. It's a good word.
It's
Good
totally a
word.
gemologist, guys.
That's like a $3 word. It totally is.
I got it.
She's like Wikipedia. It's no
She
joke.
really
Like,
is.
she's literally
She really
Wikipedia.
is.
Yeah, clearly I'm
I love it.
missing that.
So, well, that was the murder this week. The crime was there. I feel like because they spent so much time on other stuff this week, I feel like we lost a little bit of the whodunit and the crime and the fun
Yeah.
forensic part,
Yeah.
which I kind of usually enjoy.
Yeah.
But I was really glad that we got into the Maura and Mom.
Yes.
Finally.
A lot
Shall
of
we-
drama.
shall
Yes,
we
I'm
remove-
definitely
Uh-oh.
going to.
Okay, guys. I'm sorry. I have to remove everything.
I'm going to remove my mask. Apparently, mine's easier to remove.
This is not as graceful as I
Sorry
hoped.
for that wonderful sound.
Ooh. All right.
Jen, did you get your mask on Amazon?
I didn't. I actually got it from you. But if I wanted to get one similar to this one, I could probably get it on Amazon. And our viewers actually and listeners can go to AfterBuzz TV and click on the Amazon banner, and that will help us keep the lights on and hopefully fix our technology issues. I don't know, maybe. So guys, buy stuff on there and it will help us out. And it's, nothing, it doesn't hurt you in any way or cost you anything. It's
No,
just-
it doesn't cost you anything. You just click on the banner.
Can I just say that I'm really glad that our masks are off now?
I know, I feel like
My
I have
face-
sweaty eyebrows.
My face is like, oh,
Sweaty eyebrows from the mask. So if you're going to a masquerade, people, put some powder in your eyebrows.
definitely.
Yeah.
Some
Bring
powder
your
on your
eyes.
face.
That was
It's
a
like,
little, yeah.
touch it up.
Okay, so the biggest topic of the episode is undoubtedly
Yes.
Maura and her mom.
There's a lot to cover in one
There was
episode.
It
so much that happened.
It happened quickly, too.
They did, because Hope calls Maura and asks for dinner
Mm-hmm.
because she just wants to see her, which we have no idea why. And Maura decides, let's have dinner at my house. And Hope says, can I bring my daughter? Which I immediately thought at that point that they knew.
Right, so did I.
I thought so, too.
I was like, Hope knows. They want to come to dinner. They want to talk about it. They want to be a family. It's all going to be awesome.
Right.
And that's so not what happened.
No.
Even when they came to dinner, I felt like the daughter knew because she was so cold and she was
Right.
so distant, and you couldn't tell if she was just not happy about moving to Boston or if she wasn't happy because she knew about Maura.
Right.
Like, there were
Right.
so many intricacies in the relationship, and Rizzoli and Mom were there, and Mom of course cooks because Maura is not the best cook, and she's getting really nervous and wants to super impress her, and instantly from the second that they walk in, it's completely awkward, and it goes a million different directions before you can figure out like what is going on.
Yeah, emotional chaos. I felt like the daughter, I didn't know if the daughter knew necessarily that Maura was her sister, but I felt like she had some kind of
Intuition of some kind.
intuition, like, I don't really like you that much, and I don't know why, but I just
Yeah.
don't like you. Just a little teenage weirdness.
It was definitely, up for interpretation at that
Yeah.
point because we thought so many different things.
Completely.
We're like, for sure they're there to confront them and reveal the whole family connection, and then no, of course not.
Right, and then
But did she know? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Rizzoli was saying that she was 18, and at 18, 18-year-olds don't like anybody but 18-year-olds, which is so true.
Right,
It's like
right.
you don't like people that are younger than you because they're not cool, and you don't like people that are older than you because they're so not cool. You know what I mean? You're in a rush to get to that age, but you're
Were
not
you like
cool.
that?
Oh, yeah. I had like those between like 16 and 18 that I was too cool for my family. I was like, I didn't want to go to family functions. Like, I wanted to be with my friends. You know what I
That's
mean?
funny.
And
Yeah.
if my mom dragged me to a dinner party with a bunch of old people, I would have been like, yeah, I'm going to sit and listen to my iPod. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Right.
I probably would have been the same way.
Speaking of iPods,
Ooh.
I bet you get your iPod music on iTunes.
I do.
So, viewers, everybody go to iTunes and download the new AfterBuzz TV podcast app, and you can watch us for free and everything else. And also rate us, comment on our show, and give us big internet hugs.
We love internet hugs.
We love 'em.
We do. I
Write
go and
to
read.
us.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
go
write
and
to us.
we listen and we read all the comments, and I try to read the comments on iTunes
Mhm.
all the time, so
Yeah.
that I know like who's watching, what they like, what they don't like, and it makes it really fun to know that people are interacting with us. Because we can't always connect to the chat roll when we're in this room, so it's a little bit more difficult. But Rizzoli goes to talk to Kaylin because she's sitting in the corner by herself, and she tries to make small talk, and Kaylin's just like, you don't have to talk to me. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm all set. And if you could just tell my mom I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
And
And walk home.
it was just really weird because then Hope comes back out, and I mean, she's really upset, and we can't figure out why, and then she just leaves, and all of them are like, are we that bad? Like, what happened? I don't understand.
It was weird.
It was really awkward.
But remember she said that she had been snooping. So while
But we don't know that yet.
Right, we don't
like
know
at
that
this
until
point we
later.
don't
Right,
know that
right.
because we don't even know anything. We don't know any at that point. She had just left,
Right.
and then the mom leaves, and we don't know anything. And when Hope comes back to see Maura in the morgue, in the morgue
That's
with the
where
dead
you
people,
visit people that you're
because
friends
that's where
with.
you talk about life
party, more
problems.
party. Yeah.
She talks about the kindness of strangers, and she talks about how Kaylin's very sick and she needs a kidney, and of course her mother and father are not matched for the
Right.
transplant.
Right.
Which, I mean, you
called
knew.
that.
I
You
did.
called it.
I did. I was like, hey, she's gonna be sick and she's gonna need a transplant, and
You did.
I
You
don't know
called it,
where
like,
that came from.
That was amazing too.
It was just like instantly. It was I knew because it was such a great story.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
then Maura has to deal with
Right.
it. Like I thought she had to deal with it, because who would have thought she would have came up with, I'm going to be an anonymous donor and I'm
Right.
going to make sure it only goes to her. Like, her brain just works so differently.
Right.
And I think that's because she's had to protect herself of not knowing this for so
Yeah.
long.
Definitely.
But what I thought was really nice is that when Hope was talking to Maura, she really has this in-depth conversation about mothers and daughters and how she messed up once and she didn't want to do it again. And like, it just pulled on my heart so much because
Yeah.
Maura is like, I wanted to scream at the television, like, tell her.
Didn't you feel like she was going to in that moment be like,
I-
no, you didn't
no.
mess up. Look how great I turned out.
No,
I'm
I didn't
alive.
think it was the right time for her to say anything because it wasn't about her at that point. You know, it was about her mom.
But I feel
feeling
like it
better.
would have confirmed that she did a good job. Not
Right,
that
I
she did
do
it because she
too.
didn't really, help her development in any way. But
Right.
just something that was comforting it was just weird.
But it obviously wasn't so comforting.
Well, it also came.
Well, it was a really, when she, so before we go to that,
Yeah.
because there's stuff in between
Right.
that I want to make sure we cover. When they were having that heart to heart, I thought that would have been an awesome time
Yeah.
to say something, because she was feeling like she wasn't a good mother and she was failing. And I feel like all mothers feel like that. And I feel like all daughters come to a point where, like Maura said, you feel like you're not going to measure up or you're not going to be good
Yeah.
enough.
Right.
And it's that constant battle that moms and daughters have in those different stages. And I thought that would have been an amazing time to kind of, or at least push Hope in the direction of thinking, what if your daughter wasn't dead? What would you do, or what
True.
would you say? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or maybe
Yeah.
kind
scenario,
of guide
build
it
a
in that way.
scenario.
Yeah, so it would have been not a big blow.
Right.
But before Maura even gets to handle it, Kaylin shows up at Maura's house. And when she showed up, it was like instantly you knew that
of
it was
course.
not going to go well.
No.
Of course, she was mad.
She had anger in her face.
Yeah.
I
Like,
thought she was gonna hit her at some point. I'm just like,
She
she
kept
got
getting-
so close.
she kept getting really close to
Yeah,
her as she
like
would talk
violently
to
She was
her.
a dramatic actress. She was like,
She was good. She cried.
yeah.
She was really good.
She was like, little pointing finger. I remember
And
that.
she knows. Like, she knows everything. She knows about Maura. She knows about the picture that was in the bathroom because she told her to go in the. She was snooping. She was totally snooping, and it blows my mind that Kaylin has put this together, but Hope hasn't.
Right. Because you assume that because Kaylin knew that the mom knew, and that, you know, she just couldn't take it anymore, and that's why she had left the other night, was because she knew and was uncomfortable, so she left the house.
Right.
So you assume she's back because they know.
Right.
But only she knows.
But that's what I was gonna say before. Did she find the article before she went to dinner, or was it after dinner? We don't know that.
But
she was on her
did
iPad
she talk
the whole
about
time.
the article?
Yeah, she showed the article. She said
it was on the iPad, and
you thought I wouldn't find out.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Yeah, she showed the
I missed
article.
that.
That's how she figured it out. That's how she put two and two together.
See, I didn't.
But why was she Googling Maura? Or like,
right?
Because the article had come out so long ago that why would that even come up unless she was like, who is my mother's new best friend?
So maybe it was after dinner.
Yeah, because it was weird because she said, why would you call my mom with this BS excuse? And she found the picture and she was furious. And what really hurt was when she said, do you know what it's like to have to grow up in the shadow of a dead baby?
Yeah.
Like, this little girl is 18 years old. She's dying. She needs a kidney. And she now finds out that this person that her mom has grieved over her entire life, who kept her so busy because she grieved over this baby, and thinking now this is going to change her life, and now is saying, I don't want a part of your body in mine. Like, she won't take a kidney to keep her alive. Yeah. Which blew my mind.
That blew my mind too.
I think she'll get over it though.
Well,
I think she'll have to.
You know what? I think it's going to be a couple episodes because when Hope comes looking for her daughter, what I was really surprised by is that Kaylin doesn't tell her mom.
No, and that's
Kaylin
why she was
concerned.
Shocked. She looked shocked that Maura actually told her.
Yeah,
she looked very concerned.
Well, when Hope comes in, she's like, "You followed me? Like, yeah, you took our car, but you followed me? Like, what?" And it was very clear that Kaylin almost didn't want Hope to know.
Yep.
So it was almost like Kaylin wasn't going to tell her mom who Maura was, and just wanted Maura to just kind of go away on her own, which is a teenager. We think that's the best idea in the world.
And it's very selfish of her, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely.
Very selfish.
What was really it was just when Maura finally tells Hope, I just so didn't expect Hope to react that way.
No, but it's so shocking that, like,
yeah.
I mean, you saw how Kaylin reacted when she found out. She told her, "Don't give me your kidney. I would rather not take it."
But as a child, I understand that more than how Hope reacted.
But she
wasn't gonna like run and embrace her like my baby.
I wasn't
looking
for
that. She didn't believe her either.
Right. I wasn't looking for that. She was so cold.
She was.
And I feel like for such a person who's been so warm so many episodes and who's been so open to talking to Maura, and they've had this relationship and this connection.
Yeah.
Right.
Forgive me for using the Bachelor terminology, but it just literally, they had this connection, and all of a sudden all of that is null and void. Who are you? Why are you doing this to my family? Like, you're...
But she didn't believe her, and that would come as a shock when you believed that your child was dead for 36 years. And then all of a sudden there's a human being that you've made friends with that has been in your life now for however long they've been hanging out as friends. They're medical people. They don't probably just hang out as friends. But
maybe.
That's what we'll call that. But she probably is in major shock. I'm sure she'll come around because she seems to keep coming around to apologize and to talk more, and I'm sure that there will be more of that.
I feel like she had to defend her daughter, Kaylin, because she embraced her, saying, "This is my daughter," because they had such a huge connection, her and Maura. She doesn't have that connection with Kaylin, so it's like, no, like, I feel bad. This is my daughter. This is who I'm trying to connect with, and yet I connect with you, and I don't even know why.
And there has to be a guilt to that because she's constantly
guilty,
saying that she spent her entire career making up for this daughter that died.
Right.
So she lost out on a relationship with her real daughter while she was mourning Maura and not knowing that Maura lived. And the thing that, I mean, obviously an 18-year-old doesn't think this way, but the thing that really bothered me with Kaylin was that she never took into account that Maura didn't know. You know, like, Maura didn't know that she had a fake death, and she didn't know that they were grieving her. She had no idea. She thought that her mom and her dad that raised her were her mom and her dad up until Patty showed up.
But Kaylin may not have known that because she saw the picture in the house, which is of the gravestone and her mother. So she's probably like, well, you did know because you've had this in your house, and this is art of my mother at your gravestone. How do you not know?
Right. And
which also means she knew about the article before dinner because she snooped at dinner and she found the...
Well, maybe she snooped first, did some research, figured it out. Maybe she snooped while she was on that iPad listening to music and then bolted. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess
she
that doesn't
definitely
matter.
did a lot
18,
of
so
snooping.
maybe she snooped because she's 18.
I don't
I
know.
don't remember being 18 snooping. But.
She definitely did a lot of snooping, which, I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, it got the information out that we really wanted to get
Right.
out, which was that Hope was Maura's biological mother, and
Mhm.
that obviously you would hope that at some point there's some sort of sit down between the two of them
Right.
and they can talk about the fact that she had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, she really didn't know until much later. And how do you handle that situation knowing that your mom is now back in Boston, and what do? You know what I mean? That's going to
Right.
be hard. And I feel like Hope will eventually come around, and I hope that Kaylin will take the kidney, but we'll see.
Yeah, and we answered our question from the previous week is why did she all of a sudden end up in Boston?
Right,
Right.
and it
Because
was
her
because
daughter
her
is
daughter's sick, and,
Right.
and Boston Mass General Hospital, they're
Exactly.
one of the best.
It
But
wasn't
didn't-
just TV magic. There was a reason.
No,
Yeah,
but we
no.
also thought it was to reveal that they know, but then they didn't know it.
Oh, it's true. Yeah. No.
No, the daughter did, but not the mom. So,
Right.
and I'm sure Hope isn't looking, worried about other things going on other than her daughter right now. Like,
Yeah.
her daughter's the only thing she's thinking about.
Right.
And I know that when you have a sick family member, like,
Mhm.
the news doesn't go anymore, the internet doesn't work. Like, you just forget everything for that person.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm sure her mind was working a little bit differently. The next thing I want to talk about is just every week it's family. Like,
Yes.
every week something with the family. I thought it was really cute that Mama Rizzoli was all dressed up tonight.
She looks
Mhm.
beautiful.
We don't know who she's dressed up for,
Yeah.
which I think they're giving us a glimpse each week of her just becoming more comfortable and
Yeah.
more happy being single and,
And having her own life.
yeah, high heels. We had the Dr. Scholl's commercial in the middle of the episode. I mean,
Yes.
product placement, people, product placement.
Come on now.
But it was cool to see her like all dressed up, and I also really like that Frankie's becoming so much more a part of the team
Yeah.
now. Like, he
Mhm.
really wants to be detective.
He and
Yeah.
Frost are like buddies. They do, even when Frost goes to a crime scene by himself or to do whatever, he's like, "Come on, Frankie."
Yes.
Well, because he knows
Shadowing.
Frankie wants to be a
He's
detective.
shadowing him.
And Frankie wants to be Jane. Like, his goal is to be just like Jane, and you can
Right.
see that. And the fact that Frost is constantly bringing him in on
Right.
stuff is fun, and the dancing is just.
Not okay.
It was like, really?
It hurt my eyes.
Neither one of them had
Come
any
on.
rhythm.
I thought Frost would get up, and do something, but
he had no
didn't.
rhythm.
No,
None.
he didn't school him. He
Like,
just,
the butt was
not
out.
good
He
at
was like, but, and
all.
that was it. It was really bad.
they were not shaking their moneymaker.
And then the
well,
nun
they
from
were,
hell.
but
like,
it wasn't
not
making
enough.
any money.
Mm-mm. No, it wasn't making any money. That's
No.
for sure. And then the nun from hell. It's not very nice of me. The nun from hell shouldn't even be in a sentence,
Yeah.
but she really is.
Yeah.
I don't
but
want
there's
her on the
something-
show anymore.
I keep telling there's something about her, something very
There she is.
wounded. She's got a very wounded.
And
That
spirit.
whole story was
Interesting.
very sad,
Yeah.
but
interestingly enough,
weird.
she has a love for Frost, and you
Yeah.
can tell she talks to Frost differently than she talks
Yeah.
to everyone else.
Maybe because he reminds her of the boy.
that was just such a weird moment, though. Like, and this has to go somewhere because otherwise, why
For
is
sure.
she here?
And she's 2 episodes now.
and now
Yeah.
she's crying and she's sneezing and it's
Well,
like,
she's pretending to sneeze.
It was weird. It was an
Crying,
awkward
saying, I
moment.
have a cold.
It was weird.
I don't know.
Okay, wait. What's creepier, this or hand guy?
This.
This, absolutely this. I will take hand guy back any day and get rid of none.
She's a nun.
Yeah.
Like,
And
there's
still
just,
has a ruler. You're dealing with adults. Put
she's
your ruler away.
She's
How do you
intense.
console people that are being killed, their families, with a ruler? Like, you
I
just
don't
don't.
know. Like, leave your weapon at home.
But
There's a lot of sadness in her heart. I can feel.
there
Yes.
is.
And
I mean,
I'm sure it will come out and
Yeah.
Whatever. But
well, yeah, and we saw a little bit of that tonight. We saw a little bit of her softer side and
Mhm.
talking about how she went into a lot of underprivileged schools and helped children. There was the one that she couldn't save, and he was killed, and she was very, very, very affected by that.
Right.
And Frost just plays it cool with her.
Mm-hmm.
And he just says, I understand. And she's like, no, you don't. And he's like, I do. And we're all just trying to save the world. And they are so polar opposite, but they complement each other in such a
Right.
great way that I feel like Frost is going to be the one to pull whatever her story that we're going to
Probably.
get out of her.
I mean, meanwhile, she has not helped one single family of a homicide victim.
No.
Well, we don't know what
Well,
she's
not that we've
doing
seen,
while we're
but-
watching Jane and
Right.
Maura.
But I wonder if there's going to be some sort of crime that has to do with one of the kids that she was with. And that's going to be what
maybe.
her storyline is.
Maybe.
But
Let's see. Predictions.
Sister Winnie. Sister Winnie.
Sister Winnie.
The poo.
But we are going to go to a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back with some news and gossip and predictions.
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man. No, I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AFTERBUZZ TV. And why? Because AFTERBUZZ TV's like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows, like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AFTERBUZZ TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AFTERBUZZ TV goodness. Check them out. Give them a holler. And tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you.
AFTERBUZZ TV News.
You're so official.
Yeah,
I
that
know.
is
I have
special.
music.
You have music.
Thank you for my music. So news.
Ready?
The woman, Tess, who wrote the book that the show Rizzoli Isles is based on, is now commissioned to write 2 more books about Rizzoli Isles.
Ooh.
And yes, and that will hopefully, propel some more seasons. As we mentioned last week, we got picked up for we got picked up for our 4th season. So we'll be back.
Nice.
We'll be season 2. They'll be season 4.
Exactly.
It'll be great.
It will be great.
I tried to read the books. I don't know if you guys have ever
No,
picked
I-
up one of the books. They're really gory. Like, really gory. Like, I couldn't do it.
Oh, wow.
And the first season was very similar to the books because of the whole surgeon, serial killer that was, like, after Jane. But I don't feel like they've been so to the book since. So I'm
Right.
curious. I'd love to know if any of our viewers have read all the books. And,
Tell us.
And
Yeah,
how
let us
close they
know.
are. Because my stomach can't handle it.
I can't even handle these.
I could, yeah, exactly. I could barely handle the
The
dead
murders, I'm
bodies.
like,
I can handle this all day. The reading the gore,
And
because
alone.
my mind starts going, and
Well, because they have to paint it more for you.
Right.
Here, we're actually seeing it.
so not good.
No.
So not good.
It's like they tell you the color. And
Yeah, I don't want to
That's
know.
gross.
details.
It's just, nah, nah.
One. Do we have any more news and gossip?
We do.
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh.
So, the country singer, Craig Morgan, will be a guest star on the show. And how we found out is he's actually going to be on the new spin-off of Good Morning America, which is Good Afternoon America, hosted by Laura Spencer. And so he's going to be on that. He's going to be talking about Rizzoli Isles and, his country music. And he's going to be on the show.
Nice.
Yeah, he's going to be part of the crime, or resolving the crime, I guess. And it's going to be pretty awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, so that
He
is-
sings Redneck Yacht Club. I just wanted to share that with y'all.
Redneck yacht.
Because
Sounds like
I
something I
would-
wouldn't listen to.
I would like to be a member of a Redneck Yacht Club.
And if you want to download the song, you could go to iTunes. So
Oh.
there you go.
You could totally go to iTunes.
Yes.
He's very handsome. So I wonder what he'll be doing in this show.
Wait, maybe.
Maura?
Wait, no, how old is he? What does he look like? Maybe for the mom?
He's very handsome. No, not
No.
old enough
He's
for
young,
mom.
right?
Not
No.
old enough for mom, but he has a big charity weekend coming up
Does he
with
want to invite
motocross
us?
stars that I think that we should be invited to.
Just saying.
But yeah, he has all his summer TV appearances, Rizzoli Isles on there. That's super cool.
Hey,
I love me a little
Good for
country
him.
star. It's exciting.
wish we could get him on the show if you're out there listening.
I know, Craig Morgan, come see us.
Yeah.
We
Do you
have rap this week, country next week.
Country. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Do you have any more news and gossip this week?
That is it, actually.
Good
Alright.
job, Jen.
I have to tell you, one of my favorite things that I did not touch on at all in this episode was when Maura, when she went on a cover, she had a little Christian Grey in her tonight. Did anybody else catch that? She was
I
talking
haven't
about
read the
whips.
books.
She did say that. You're right.
Yeah, but you don't have to read the books to know that he's a little off teeter on his love, and
Whips.
it's a lot of whips and chains.
Yeah, he's into
and
that.
handcuffs.
That's the whole thing.
No
with,
wonder why everyone's reading.
right. That's what they're saying. They're like women are hiding.
I mean, it's
and
been
reading.
banned, but I read it, and I don't know.
It's been banned.
It's been banned in states.
Oh wow.
It's been banned from libraries.
You know it's a good book when it's been banned.
I mean, and it's not even that bad. I have to tell you that I've read all 3, and it's not that bad.
There's a lot worse
Yeah.
out there.
And I actually got to the point by the 3rd book that I was just reading through the sex parts. I didn't even want to hear it anymore. I
Yeah.
just wanted to know the story.
Right.
But Maura had some Christian Grey in her tonight. She was talking about belts and whips, and I was like,
Okay,
"Wait,
Maura.
that's why she likes the creepy hand guy. Now it
Now
all
we
makes
know.
sense.
Now
and
we
wasn't
know.
creeped out when he stood there naked out of nowhere.
Yeah, because she's got a little. She was really excited
She's
about
like,
that sex
"Bring it."
party.
Her and the nun need to just like go hang out. They're perfect for each other.
Super interesting. I just had to talk about that because I just never saw Maura as the girl that was like, tie me up.
Ooh.
She always surprises us. I think it's those closeted ones that are
The
like
quiet one.
she's totally like she's got some stuff.
She's like the onion that I just want to keep peeling.
Right.
Just want to keep peeling. Show me more, Maura. Show me more. And Rizzoli was totally lying when she said Maura wasn't her type tonight. Just so you know.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
totally
you
lying.
We're not happy.
You
with
Not
that.
happy.
You were really
Like
mad
you
at
are
that.
her type.
Janet, tomorrow we need to talk because this was not a good writing sentence. We should just take that right out of the episode. But let's talk about our predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
I just feel like I should have a cat.
I had a crystal ball. You have a cat.
I have a cat. You had a crystal ball. It was all confusing. Maura and her mom.
Maura and her mom. Man,
They're going to have a relationship.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
it's gonna be a good one
Yes.
at some point.
Is Kaylin going to take the kidney?
Yes.
Kaylin's gonna take the kidney
going
because
to. I mean,
Kaylin
she
wants
has
to
to.
live.
She
I feel
has
like we
to.
should have signs. The answer is yes. Kidney.
Kaylin's going to take the
Team
kidney.
kidney.
For sure.
When are we going to see the boys back?
I was all about it, and then they took them from me
Next season.
and you.
Next season. I mean, I'm totally okay without the boys. Totally okay.
Wow.
No.
But Casey hasn't
Casey's
been
her
back.
boyfriend, so she's not okay with that.
Yeah. Where is my friend Casey?
None of them. Tommy hasn't been back. Casey hasn't been back.
All of them.
Oh,
stripped.
Tommy.
Creepy hand guy hasn't been back. The dad and his hot tart wife haven't been back.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm
Even
very-
the chief, who we want to get with Mom,
Mom was going on a date today, though.
might have been with him.
So-
You never know.
Could have been with
Well,
him.
she said she was going to work. She did say she was
Oh,
going to
But
work.
she went to work to
But
look
she
nice
went
because
to,
she sees
yeah.
him.
So somebody at work,
Okay.
somebody that comes into that police station, she
Catching
was dressed
those
Yeah,
up for.
because you don't dress like that to go
'Cause they were like,
to
"Where
a
are you
bakery
going?"
or a cafe.
She-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julie was like, "Where are you going?" "I'm going to work." "I'm not dressed like that. You're not." I mean, it
Mhm.
was like hysterical. But
Rizzoli or Jane was really funny this episode.
She
I
was.
have to admit, she had a lot of funny comments.
yeah,
I
she
can't
did.
remember what she said. It was one part.
Something
that
at the
was-
end that was really funny.
Well, what killed me was at the
Can't
end
remember.
when Maura and Rizzoli were talking, and all of a sudden Maura just stops and she was like, "I'm
That was my favorite.
offended that she doesn't want
That's
my kidney."
the part.
No, she was like, "You're being a bad friend," and she's like, "Why?" She's like, "'Cause you need to be saying something
said-
different."
I'm offended.
Completely offended that she wouldn't take her kidney, and Rizzoli was just like, "Well, then you just keep it inside your body." Like,
yes.
So
and
you just take that kidney
You
and
don't need
keep
that
it.
surgery.
Don't give it to her.
that
it
was
was
my
kinda
favorite
great.
part. It was cute.
it was.
That's a good friend when you're
Good.
like, "I will join whatever nonsense you're saying and
Yeah.
I will support it."
You are making no sense whatsoever,
But
but I will
yes.
love you for
Well,
it.
how about Jane said, "I'd give you my kidney."
Yeah,
I
but she
wouldn't give
said-
my brothers my
right.
kidney, but I'd give you my kidney.
Yeah,
I'm sure you like that.
that's love.
I loved it.
That's love.
It was love.
Such a hug.
Oh, jeez.
All right, tell them where they can find you, ladies.
At Roqui_T.
At Jen the Jew.
And I'm at Krisily. Thank you guys for joining us on another AfterBuzz TV show with Rizzoli Isles. We want to see you next week, so go on iTunes, give them some internet love, and come check us out next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.